Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Baligian.
What is up? Can you believe it? This is the last in a series that's been going on for now 6 months. The Proven Path, and we can't thank our friends with the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association enough for making this happen. And listen, let's be honest. Mike Ivesil here, and we'll introduce our guest in a second. You didn't have to twist our arm very much to do something like this. It's something that I know you're passionate about. I'm very passionate about, and it's great to spread the word on the greatness that is high school hockey in the state of Michigan. Mike?
It's great. And Sean, it started. I mean, we don't have to wait anymore. Tryouts are going on right now. We just got some great news out of Forest Hills. We can't wait to get out there and see these kids play.
We'll save the great news. Well, you know what? You bury the lead, right? Isn't that what you say? You kind of put it down. We could lead with that, but no, we're not going to lead with that.
That was a cliffhanger.
Yes.
It's a cliffhanger.
Kindly joining us, a guy that's done some damn good things out there in Forest Hills with the Rangers. He is the head man. Our final guest here on the Proven Path, MHSAA Hockey, Bill McSween, kindly joining us. And Coach, first of all, really appreciate you taking the time. I know how busy this time of year can get.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about the Rangers.
Hey, let's start before we get into the Rangers and that good news that Mike teased. I always like to ask guys this, and I'm just going to come out right with this. Why high school hockey? There are so many different options for kids out there. It's near and dear to all of our hearts, or we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation right now. But from your perspective, what would you tell a young player about having the opportunity to play at a place like Forest Hill Central?
I am a big believer in high school hockey. It goes back to when I was playing in the late 90s. My dad ran Redford Ice Arena. It was a community-based arena, and we had a program called Redford Unified, and I had the option of playing, AAA or AA. And the best decision I ever made was my dad was really a proponent of high school hockey, and I ended up playing for my school program. And it just really developed me. And when you're playing club hockey and all those things, like you're kind of your own. When you're playing high school hockey, you're with your friends. Whenever there's conflict, you got to deal with the conflict. There's no running or hiding because you're going to see that person the very next day. You become leaders within your school, within the community. And I've just always been a proponent of playing for your local high school hockey teams. I think it's the best developmental path. I mean, if you look at what they do in Sweden and stuff, it's a lot of practices. It's a lot of weight training, a lot of, skill development type stuff. And high school offers that opportunity. And I just couldn't be a bigger proponent of high school hockey. I just think you create better hockey players and you create better community leaders as well.
That's great. So let's start with your playing career. Like you said, you went through high school hockey. Your pathway took you to junior hockey and beyond. Tell us about your playing career and your coaching career and how you ended up back here at Forest Hills coaching high school hockey.
Yeah. So after I played high school hockey, I played in the North American Hockey League. I was a suitcase. I got traded around. So I got traded from, there was a team called Cap Center Pride. And then I went to Bozeman, Montana. I actually played for John LaFontaine, who coaches Cranbrook right now. And then I went to Springfield, Missouri. And then I finished it up in Traverse City. And then after Traverse City, I tried out for Wayne State. And they had a Division I team at that time. And they cut me. I was crushed. And, I kind of pouted for a while. It was hard getting out of bed. And my dad was just like, you're not going to sit around here all day. Get a job. So I was a roofer, and I was up on a roof in December, and it was freezing cold. And I was like, what am I doing? I don't want to do this anymore. So I ended up, Davenport University offered me a scholarship to go play in Grand Rapids for the ACHA. And that was another great decision where I met some of my best friends. And it's crazy how many Davenport coaches that there are out there. You know, there's Ricky Gadwa, there's Jordan Stager, Jeremy Boltema, Norm Farr, you know, Taylor Keyworth. There's just a million Davenport coaches out there, and I'm forever grateful to Coach Loudon and Coach Sweeney for giving me the opportunity to play at Davenport. And then I coached at Davenport. I was assistant coach for 8 years. And, you know, I kind of reached 2020 happened, and the Forest Hills job came open, and I just thought I could make a bigger impact coaching high school kids. And I decided to coach Forest Hills, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity. Like it's been a blessing. And I couldn't be happier with my decision to coach at Forest Hills.
Bill McSween, the head coach at Forest Hills Central, of course, the head man with the Rangers, kindly joining us. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our buddy, the coach, as I affectionately call him, Kirk Hunter, in the chat said, Mr. McSween, your father, of course, is one of a kind. So you know better than anybody. There's something about this great game and the generations. It seems like one generation passes it down to the other. I think since Kirk brought it up, before we get back to the task at hand, talk a little bit about the impact your father had on you and certainly your love for the game.
Oh, you're going to get me emotional. You're going to get me emotional early on. My dad's the greatest person in the world. Well, my mom is the greatest person in the world, and my dad is a close second. My dad ran Redford Ice Arena when I was growing up, and that was the greatest arena of all time. And some of my greatest memories would be he would wake me up early in the morning, and me and him would go for a skate at Redford Ice Arena, and he did everything the right way. Every decision he made about Redford was for the best of the arena, for the best of the community. He was my assistant coach. Every decision he made was what was best for the kids. He is the most honest, most caring person that I met, and he's my role model in life. And I owe everything to my mom and dad, because my mom had to deal with my dad, and he wasn't the easiest to deal with. But whenever people say, hey, you remind me of my dad, like that's like the greatest compliment you can give to me, because everything he did, he ran the arena properly. He gave his heart and soul into Redford Township. He still lives there. I just got done talking to my mom and dad. They're going to be listening. I think your mom and my mom worked at Redford Union Schools together for a period of time.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So whenever I used to listen to you on 11, I think it was 11:30, The Fan.
Yeah.
My mom would be like, "Oh, I work with his mother."
Yeah.
Like, and all that stuff. So,
that's
funny.
We
go way back. And so, yeah, my parents are just ingrained in the Redford Township, ingrained in the hockey. And, you know, my dad played at Brown University back in the 60s. He talks about taking slap shots at I'm drawing a blank. Who is the famous Montreal Canadian goalie?
Ken Dryden.
Ken Dryden. Yep. And so he played against him. And then, you know, my uncle Mike played at University of Michigan Dearborn. Then my uncle Don was captain of the Michigan State 1986 national title team and played in the NHL for a while. And
that's awesome.
He's my godfather. So hockey runs in the family, and I owe it all to my dad. So I literally can take up the whole podcast talking about my dad, because I love him that much.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm going to keep it right there with family. You use the term suitcase, and that's something that gets used. And when we're talking about family, you've got this experience of being not only away from home, but moving away to play hockey. We're talking about high school hockey being the pathway. How do you use that experience to help those kids that might be out on the East Coast or in the UP or away from their families that you're moving on from Forest Hills?
Yeah, juniors was, you know, I came from high school, and then in juniors, it was a tough time. You get traded, like you get comfortable with a billet family, and some of these billet families are the nicest people. They'll welcome 18, 19, 20-year-old kids into their home and welcome into their families. And, you begin to really enjoy being around them. And all of a sudden you get traded away. You kind of look at it as like, oh, I wasn't good enough for this team. And you just, at the high school level, you try to like go through these moments with these young men. Like today I had to make some cuts, and a lot of these cuts are going to be part of our program in the future. And you're just trying to tell them, hey, you guys are doing nothing wrong. Like, it is what it is. Sometimes keep going, like just keep battling through it. Not everything's going to be perfect. And I think high school really teaches you that, because not everything is going to be perfect. You're going to have conflict. You're going to have, tough times. You're going to lose some huge games in front of your friends and family and 1,000 other people. And you just got to get through it and grind through it and try to do the best you can. And, I'll mention, Sam Milak, he went out to Humboldt and he thought he was going to be, play for Humboldt, and, it didn't work out. And I give Sammy a lot of credit. He just packed his bags, drove his truck from Humboldt all the way out to the East Coast, and now he's doing well in the NCDC. And awesome. I'm really proud of him for that, because that is a tough pill to swallow when your whole life is hockey, and then all of a sudden a coach says, hey, you're not meant for this team right now, and you just gotta grind through it and get through it and tough it out. And when you do that, you become a stronger person.
Heck of a player, that Sammy Milak. Yep. More on the Milaks, all 722 of them. I believe 722 have gone through Forest Hill Central, but we'll get to that in just a second. As Bill McSween joins us, the head coach of Forest Hill Central. Bill, it's interesting, we can talk to you and some other coaches that had the opportunity to move on, but they were few and far between back in the day. And you're seeing it more and more every year as the talent level, and certainly the coaches, and a shout out to all the coaches out there, developing and bringing guys in and making them better players. That's certainly one of the calling cards for me in regards to the answer of the question, why high school hockey? You're seeing guys move on more and more every year, whether it be to the NAL, sometimes to the USHL, the OJ, wherever the case may be. This really has been a path for young men to continue their playing career.
The coaching level at the high school is incredible. And this is my 5th year at Forest Hills. My ego is like, oh, I'm going to come into high school and I'm just going to run ramshot, right? My God, some of these coaches are good. Chris Newton at East Grand Rapids is an incredible coach. Like, we bounce ideas off each other all the time, and like, he's brought some things that I'm like, what? And some other coaches in the Grand Rapids area are incredible. And I can go to the east side with Rick Gadwa. Like, I played with him, and it's a whole different level looking at the game from player to coach. And I've learned so much from all the different coaches in high school hockey. And again, I think the way the schedule is and the amount of practice time, coaches actually have the opportunity to coach the players as well. And again, there are some really good programs out there, and programs that kids and upcoming players should really look into the playing for them. I want them all to come to Forest Hill Central, but I'm telling you, there's a million other programs out there in high school hockey that do it the right way. And that was the biggest shock to me, is the level of coaching that's been going on at these programs.
I think we hear it, Sean, every show, the coaching. It's getting better. The guys that are coming in, as the coaching gets better, the product gets better. And there's some coaching going on at Forest Hill Central. Let's get into this team. You're coming back from a 15-9-1 season, obviously a disappointing loss in the playoffs, but it looks great. If I'm not mistaken, you're returning your top 5 scorers from last year. There is a couple big losses there, and one of my favorite players, Sean, if you remember when we called that game, Mike Hazard, what a menace that kid was on the ice. We said his name a million times. He was just crushing people. But tell us, what are your expectations for those returning scorers? And let us know a few of the rookies that might make an impact this year.
My expectations are pretty high. yeah, I think we're 15-9-1 last year. I was a little disappointed how we finished the season. Northern Eastern got us. You know, shout out to Tom Bissett. He got me. A little bitter about that, but the guys worked really hard last year. And, you know, a player to watch out for is Gibby Grendel.
Yep.
This guy is the real deal. And let me tell you a story about Gibby real quick. Talk about like impact guys can make. I was going through a hard time over the summer, and Gibby was playing for a split season, this MHA team. And he just has like this infectious personality, like this positive vibe about him all the time. And I was just down for about a week or two. I wasn't, you know, I was going through a rough time, and Gibby just stops me. He's like, "Hey coach, you'll be all right, man. You're good. We just want what's best for you." And I was just like, man, a high school kid's the one lifting me up. Like, and it made all the difference in the world. You know what I mean? And I hope for all you players listening, like, if you have a positive attitude, you don't know the impact you can make within your schools and with the people around you. Like, and I haven't even told Gibby that. Like, he's probably going to blow up my phone when he sees this. But yeah, like, as far as the player Gibby, he made giant strides over the summer. And, you know, I had Dave Sellen was his head coach at the MHA, and he really worked with him and with moving the puck and decision making and closing guys out. He is going to be a force this year. He's going to be the real deal. And we got Eli Lipke, who's going to be really good. Eli Lipke, I watched him play soccer. He's an all-world soccer player. So he's going to be really good. And then we got Jack Brzezinski. The list goes on. Logan Hoffman, you guys might not remember that name. He's going to be really good. And then, you know, we haven't made the big announcement yet, but Ben Mielek's coming back this year.
There it is.
So we're really excited to have him back, and he just works hard too. In the weight room, off the ice, on the ice, he's a student of the game. I'm really, if you can't tell, I'm really excited about what we can become this year. Just putting it all together. And Nolan Bateson's our starting goalie. He was 6-1 for us last year. He's going to be really good. Some newcomers. I mean, we got some newcomers. We got this Magnus Kramer kid. He's 6'5", defenseman, can move the puck pretty. He is a giant. Wow. And really smart kid. I mean, GPA of the team is going to skyrocket with this guy on the team. And then and it's just the list goes on and on. I could keep naming guys, but we're really excited. We got this 2010 freshman. His name's Elliot Fricano. I really am excited about him. I'm excited about everyone. I'm very fortunate to have the team I have this year.
Bill McSween kindly joining us, the head coach at Forest Hills Central, and we'll talk about the Rangers schedule in a little bit. By the way, want to give them some props. They made a run to USA Hockey Arena a couple of years ago. Don't be surprised if they don't make a strong run towards it again this year. I want to talk about a couple guys. Gibby Grendel, love the kid. I want to mention that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Coach. He just jumped back to defense just a couple years ago, right? You know, for a guy like that to get out there and kind of embrace that and say, yeah, where do you need me to go, and then excel? I think that speaks doubly about that character that you spoke of.
High character. Yeah, we made the switch his sophomore year. So he played forward. We made the switch, and kind of the philosophy is when you have a defenseman that can skate like he does, like there's a lot of teams down the road that'll be interested in that skill set. Yep. And the defensive position's hard to play the right way. And, you know, if you look in the NHL, it takes defensemen longer to develop than it does, you know, a young gun forward. And he's starting to grasp the position, and he's starting to realize the nuances of it. And the sky's the limit for him, because his skating ability is, I'd put him up against anyone in the state. So Gibby Grendel, and again, as good as his skating is, his character is even better. He's a better teammate. He's a better community leader, and the sky's the limit for Gibby.
Now, Sean, I don't know if you remember, they played out in Heartland that Gibby's sophomore year. Yep. And you sent me out there and you said, I want you to watch this Lipke and this Gibby kid. I went out there and I was reporting back the skating, But what I noticed also for being a new defenseman was his vision of the ice from back there. And then he uses those offensive skills. I can't wait to see how improved he is the first time we get to see him this year.
I can't wait. He's a great when the play's in front of him.
Yeah.
Like he is great when the play's in front of him. And yeah, I think for the next level and for the high school level, defense was the right decision for him.
You mentioned you're getting a stud back. I mean, really, all the Milocks that have gone through your program are just quality players. There's no other way to say that. I think you could say what the first family of hockey out at Forest Hills.
Yeah.
Wendy, if I'm not mistaken. Wendy, correct?
Wendy, yes, yep.
Yeah,
Wendy and Jim.
Had a chance to meet her last year, Mike. If you remember when we were in Traverse City and we saw FHC. But talk about what Benny brings to the table. I mean, look, I think his game speaks for itself. Anybody that has seen him play, but for the benefit of somebody that maybe hasn't watched him play yet, what jumps out to you about his game?
I think it's the number one thing is it's his effort every single shift. Yeah. Every single shift, you're going to get 100% of Benny Milock. And he's just a force on the ice. He's a 200-foot player. He will block shots. He will finish hits in the D zone. Obviously, he produces. He scores goals. He gets to the net. He's your 200-foot do-it-all player. Like there's not a position on the ice he can't play. And he just, it's his effort. Like he imposes his will onto the game. And when he's doing that, it lifts everybody up on the team. Like when he walked into the locker room on Monday and the announcement came that he was coming back, like everyone was a little bit taller. Everyone was excited. You know what I mean? Like, Benny's back, so it's that. I think it's just this force that he plays with. It's every shift you're going to get his best effort, and he's going to impose his will on the game. And he's going to make other people around him better.
And that shows when we're doing the games. I don't think there's a shift tease out there that we're not saying Milock to the net, Milock shot on net. What a play by me. It is all effort, and it shows in his game. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for your team, and I'm excited actually just to get to watch him next time. However, we were talking about the coaching getting better here in high school hockey. Tell us about your assistant coaches, because coaches are only as good as those assistants. Tell us about them and what they bring to your program.
Oh, well, Kyle Marchand, Logan Davis. So I would be in trouble without Kyle Marchand. Like he keeps me, my brain can go everywhere. I can go on tangents and like lose focus. Ooh, squirrel. Like he keeps me in line. He organizes me. Like he knows hockey. And again, the same thing, Logan, he's a younger guy. And just little things that I don't think about. I'm thinking about like line matchups, and Logan will be like, "Hey man, you need to start the senior today. You haven't started in a couple games." And I'm just like, "You're right. I need to do that." Just little things Logan will bring to the table. Logan's in charge of our penalty kill, and our penalty kill has probably been our best unit. We use it too much, but it's probably been our best unit. But yeah, and I'll say this, and then I also got a couple of volunteer coach. Will Snyder is my best friend, and he is another guy that keeps me in line. And then we got a goalie coach, Matt Kaludis, who is going to do great things for us. And the thing I'll say about all the coaches is their number one quality is they don't have any kids on the team or anything like that. They care. They care about each kid, and they care about their well-being. And I kind of go back to, my dad. He made the decisions for whatever decision he made was for the right reasons. And all my coaches, like whatever decisions they make, it's for the right reasons. They mean they want to do what's best for the program, and they want to do what's best for the kid.
Mike, if you recall, I'll let you in on a secret, Coach. You may or may not know this. We're big fans of Kyle Marchand as well, because he brought us treats last year at yes. Trenton. So
there's no stone unturned. He is detail oriented. Like his wife is a saint, because I'm calling him all hours at the night. Like her nickname is I'm the mistress. Like I'm calling him at all hours. bouncing ideas off him, and he's like, all right, I like this, settle down. Like, he really has been an awesome assistant coach. To me, he's a co-head coach. Like, he does so much for me and for the program.
Great stuff. Hey, there is a pride in the West Side, and it's interesting. You mentioned a few other guys. Obviously, the rivalry with Bassett and Forest Hills NE, and certainly there are other rivals out there. But what's interesting, and you mentioned EGR and Coach Newton, you guys are genuinely really excited when the other guy reaches. I remember when you were playing at USA Hockey Arena, talking to a couple coaches from the West Side who were there as spectators and said, hey, isn't this great? The Rangers are representing. And you see it more and more every year. A lot of these teams from the West Side, and obviously what BC did last year, putting that number one finger in the air. There's a lot of, I hate to make it an East-West thing, Coach, but let's face it, there's a lot of West Side pride going on too.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there's a lot of good hockey out here. And with East and us, I remember we were at a restaurant, and East was playing Houghton, and we're like big rivals. Like, it is a huge deal. Like, come out to Patterson during the East versus Central game. The place is jammed. The atmosphere is incredible. And I just remember the guys pulling for their buddies because they grew up playing together. My respect for Chris Newton is through the roof. So I was rooting for him. And then, Byron Center has a really good program. Jordan Stager, he's a Davenport guy, and like in the Traverse City tournament, I had a couple beers with him in the hotel room, and like you just pull for them because they're good people, and they care about the student athletes and the players, and yeah, it's a good, healthy rivalries out here on the west side of the state. And I like I said, it goes back to the coaches. Like, when there's really good coaches, you kind of pull for them. You know how much work they put in. You know the pain of losing. You just don't want to see your buddies go through that.
All right. First thing is, this year in Traverse City, we need to be invited to that hotel for a couple beers with you guys. I want to hear that conversation, and I need to talk more to Jordan about some surfing. But
you're on. You're on.
Or heck,
I'll make sure Jordan has a shirt on, though. Like, he can't be walking around the hotel without he makes us all look bad. So
right. But if they hook us up in the place we were last year, we'll have to have them out to our place. Nothing but class out there.
Now we're talking.
Oh yeah. We'll talk. You're talking some West Side rivalries, and you're talking all nice and some great things. But when you have these guys on your schedule and you're on the ice, the niceties are gone. What are some big games on your schedule this year?
We got a really tough schedule. It starts off with Forest Hills Northeastern, our first game.
Wow.
And now let's call a spade a spade. They've had our number, and me personally, I know the team they got us last year in regionals, and that was a tough pill for us to swallow. We thought we had a good team last year, and they beat us, and so we had to deal with that all summer. Then I won't name off all the games. Then we play in the Heartland Brighton showcase where we're playing Clarkston, and then whoever comes out against Brighton and Heartland, and then we got the West Michigan showcase, and we got Houghton and the Bay Reps and Lakeland, and like all these teams are coming out to this West Michigan showcase, which is going to be first year. It's going to be a great event. Like, it's going to be amazing. A lot of great teams are involved. It's West Side teams, Caledonia, Christian, and then the three Patterson teams. So that's going to be a real challenge. And then we got Stevenson this year, and then we got Byron Center this year, and Grand Rapids Catholic. Our league switched up. The OK Conference switched up, and Byron Center is now in our league. Grand Rapids Catholic's now in our league, and we still got East and Northern Eastern and Caledonia. Boys, Caledonia, mark my words.
Mm-hmm.
Mark my words. Like, they're coming. Like, they're gonna have a good program. Coach Bolt's got them going, and mark my words, you're gonna see some scores. You're gonna be like, huh, Caledonia, where's this coming from? So I'm not sure if gambling's allowed in the high school hockey, but you can get some pretty good odds betting on Caledonia.
I'm on it.
You know, Coach, I know we've talked to a couple different coaches about this. Like I know we talked to Jordan about this, and we talked to Benedict at Mona about this. I absolutely love what the OK Conference is doing this year. It's fantastic. I highly suggest to every conference to do something like this, to have that conference tournament. And I told the other guys, and I'm going to tell you the same thing, one way or the other. I know Mike and I will be out there because I'll drive over his house and pick him up. And hopefully we bring a bunch of cameras with us out there. Talk about the excitement, the OK Conference having a conference tournament. I just think, what better way to get primed for the state tournament than something like that?
Incredible. And like we had our coaches meeting after the season, and I think it was Coach Brazil from Granville. Like he kind of started the process of thinking outside the box and having the tournament, and then everyone was just kind of throwing ideas off the wall. And it came to that, having the two divisions and then having the conference tournament, the top 4 teams from each division play each other. And it's a great idea. I think the level of competition. So the idea is we want as many good games as possible. We want to play as many good games as possible. And I think this does that. And I think it makes each league game even bigger. So I think it's February 5th, 6th, or February 5th, and then 7th and 8th. I can't wait. I cannot wait for those 3 days, because every game is going to be down to the wire, hard nosed, guys giving it their all. And you're right. There's no better way to prepare for regionals than to have a conference tournament like that.
All right, it's a perfect time for this question, because since we've heard this, Sean, and since we've talked about this change up in the playoff in your conference, it's been nothing but excitement. The excitement in your eyes talking about that. That is why I asked this next question. Kind of like the change you made in that conference. What is something else you could see changing or making better in the high school hockey game to improve upon it, to make it a better pathway, to make it a better product? Like I said, just like that conference championship, that's something that it does. It draws eyes and excitement to the high school game.
Wow.
So yeah, we said softballs. That was probably the only fastball that we're going to throw there, but when I asked that question, it's because, Bill, you got a great mind. Listening to you, we've had conversations in Traverse City and here. We have ideas. Sometimes we don't want to share them because we know it might shake the leaves of the trees. But I love having these conversations because this game is great. It can only get better.
Yeah, like I would say that the number, like if you look at the Minnesota model. This could be big picture. Minnesota does it the right way. It's community-based arenas. You're playing for your local team, and regionals are a huge deal. Packed arenas. I would love for all the regional games to be local, somewhere, some way. I know some teams have to travel a long way to play in regional games, and that doesn't give the students an opportunity. And I don't know how to make it work. I'm just throwing ideas out there. I know it's a very difficult process, and what the MHSA does is an incredible job. But just some way to really make that final season tournament, the playoffs, like really pop. And Minnesota does it the right. Even the games leading up to when they play in the Excel Center, it's crazy. It's just an unbelievable environment. And you hear guys in the NHL say, the most pressure they felt, the most nervous they've been wasn't in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. It was playing for their school in regionals and in a small arena in Minnesota. So I would just really hype out like regionals and the quarterfinals and try to make them as local as possible, so as many people can get out to the games from their communities as possible.
I love hearing that, and there's no harm. Like to me, Bill, sometimes, why do you guys talk up Minnesota? Because we should. Like, I think that that's a good model to look at. That should be the shining beacon. That's no disrespect to what we're doing. And obviously we're sending kids on and everything, but the way they do it statewide, boy, I couldn't agree with you more. And our buddy Jimmy Young, the legend from the UP in the chat as well. Those are things that we've talked about. He wanted to say, love the comment about the assistant coaches doing it for the love of the game. So, in conversations that I've had, Bill, whether it be with the guys from, College Hockey Inc. or some of your contemporaries with the Coaches Association, boy, it sure seems to me like everybody wants to be rowing in that same direction and get it like, here's that term again, the Minnesota model.
Yeah. I mean, I've dug deep into the numbers and stuff. They develop their players better than any other state in the United States. You know what I mean? It's just, those are facts. Like, and I think it's the most cost effective for families. Hockey's an expensive sport. Like it really is. And so whatever way we can do to make the cost of the sport less and have more people play the game, even if they don't move on to play Division I college hockey or the NHL, you got a hockey person, you got a hockey family. Even if they played, just local high school, they're going to be going to college games. They're going to be going to NHL games. They're hockey people. Because once you play hockey, you're a hockey person. Like once you play for a season, the game's got you. Like I'm 42 years old. I've been playing since I was 3. Like my whole life is hockey, right? And like it's just that because of the people in the game of hockey. Just everything about hockey is awesome. And I just want to share it with as many people as possible. And I just think that model is the best way to get as many people playing hockey as humanly possible.
Yeah, it's something else Minnesota does is they have their elite league that they have in the off season, and they'll even have Shadical bring teams down and they play. We have our versions of that, right? We've got the MDHL. Mm-hmm. We've got something that you're involved in with the MHAA that I want to ask you a question about. And if there's one thing I found out about high school coaches in my time since I was coaching and doing the shows, we love to pimp other people's players if we believe that they're good enough. Tell us about some of the kids you coached this summer on the MHA team and who are the studs that we should be looking for.
Well, there's a lot. There are a lot of good players out there. This kid named Braylon Rodriguez from Heartland.
Yep.
He's the real deal. Vinny Sabala, he's a goalie for Heartland. He's real good. Trenton, I had like 5 Trenton kids. What a fun group they are. They're a lot to handle, but they're fun. Like Trenton's going to be the real deal.
Yeah.
Trenton's going to be really good. Serba from Sparta.
Yeah.
Great kid, great family. Cal Kennedy. That guy's a force. He's big defenseman, strong. Clarkson's got one. Clarkson's got a good one there. I know I'm forgetting some guys, but the talent level is incredible. Some of these kids are doing things that I wouldn't be able to do in a million years. And the best part about coaching these things, the split season teams and MHA and MDSHL, and is you get to meet all these new kids and all these new families, and they're just such, like I said, hockey people they're great, right? Like, and the more people you can meet, the better it is. And there's a lot of talent in Michigan high school hockey. There really is. And I'm trying to rack my brain. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone. Isaiah House, there's another good player from Brother Rice. I was very fortunate to coach that team. I've been with that program for 4 years now, and there's been a lot of great players that are off playing elsewhere, junior hockey, and we just got to keep that train going. Yep. And the MDHL does a great job as well. They got a lot of great players as well. So, I couldn't be a bigger fan of giving those kids the opportunity to play at a high level.
Mike, I'm just going to say it one time and I'll move away from it. Get everybody in the same rink under the same umbrella. That's it. Okay, I'm done. I got it off my chest, okay?
I couldn't agree more.
I know.
I couldn't agree more.
I wouldn't go on rants.
Yeah.
You know what I wanted to bring up, and we're going to make this the last point, though. You guys need to be applauded, and I'm not trying to make you blush here, Coach, but you, Ricky Gadwa, all the coaches with the MDHL. Mike, you and I have been out to Brighton. I've been to, when they were out in Farmington. There are 10,000 things you guys could be doing in the summer. You could be Mike and I on our back deck, smoking and grilling and drinking and, all that stuff. And you guys are spending day after day after day after day at the rink. And you're to be applauded for that. And I think it goes back to what you were talking about earlier, Coach, the love of the game. And you love this game. You're passionate about this game. But just for a second, talk about those guys, because it's not easy. You all have families. You all have lives. Maybe you have the summer off. You're a teacher or whatever. And you guys are at rinks every day. Boy, you want to talk about commitment. That's what those coaches are doing when they commit to something like that.
I think we do it because we love the kids. We love the players. We love the game of hockey. I'll speak upon Ricky. He puts it all together, and you're not going to find a better guy than Rick Gadwa, right? Like, I've known him in college. We've had a lot of walks, drunk walks off Heritage Hill where he talked me off the cliff. He's always been there. I give him a hard time. But he's a great guy, and I'm very fortunate. And I'll speak, like, a lot of my buddies coach in that. I mentioned Dave Sellen, and I coach with JJ Price, and from the MDHL side, there's Ray Hyde. There's all sorts of great people that are coaching, and honest to God, they're doing it for the right reasons. And yeah, there's a bunch of debates on under the same umbrella. I'm all for it again, but I'll be wherever I'm told to be to help out the kids, and wherever that is, like, I'll do it. And I just enjoy being around the kids and enjoy meeting new families and enjoy being at the rink. So a
lot of things to be excited about on the west side of the state. I mean, let's face it, all over the state. A lot of things to be excited about. A lot of things to be excited about with the Rangers as well. Bill, pleasure catching up with you. Can't wait to see you guys over the course of the season. I'm sure we'll see you a few times. I wish you and the Rangers nothing but the best this year.
I can't wait to get started. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for you guys. Can't wait to run into you. We'll talk Larry Murphy highlights. Like, I'm so excited. Mario Lemieux should have passed him the puck in 1985. He was wide open. I don't care what anyone says. He was wide open. It was the greatest hockey I've ever seen.
Bill,
poor Larry Murphy, man. He should have gotten credit for that.
Bill, I literally said to Murph, I did some stuff with him in the past, and I literally said to him, I go, at what point in time did you realize you weren't touching the puck? And he's pretty much right away. He said pretty much right away. So, hey, man, I'm looking forward to it again. Best of luck to you guys this year.
Thank you, and I appreciate you having us on. And I can't wait to see you guys at the rinks, and can't wait to get the season started.
Good luck, Coach.
The head coach at Forest Hills Central. Mike, can you believe it? We've literally done this for 5 months now.
It's incredible. We were talking about it. We almost felt like it was a year. Like, we couldn't believe it was only 5 months. But what a blast!
Oh, so much fun.
I hope we get to continue to do this, because coaches like Bill McSween are why we're here, Sean.
No doubt.
The excitement in his voice. Now, he's the only one we got to talk to in season, so that could be part of it. But, man, what a great guy, talking about his excitement for the game, and just wherever you want me, I'll be. That's the stuff that we love to hear, and I can't wait to travel all over the state to see everybody.
His enthusiasm is infectious. Like, yes. I hope Coach knows that. It's infectious, and he's absolutely right about the game. If you're passionate about this game, you know what he's talking about. Mike, you know what? Personal business, you and I are going to be a little busy next week.
Yeah.
We've got the KLA Media Day. We've got the OAA Media Day. We got the MIHL Media Day. Then you and I are going to be out and about. I don't know if I'm allowed to say yet, but don't tell anybody. I think we're going to be at USA Hockey Arena the night before Thanksgiving, you and me.
I have a feeling.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it or not, but I have a feeling we're gonna be at USA Hockey Arena the night before Thanksgiving for Catholic Central and Brother Rice. So
we could say that
with you again, buddy.
Yeah, we could say that. I'll be spending my 4th or 5th straight night before Thanksgiving at USA Arena, and I'm excited for this one to not be a dad and to be able to just relax and call that game, and from what we're hearing, see a much improved and a very exciting Brother Rice hockey team.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Hey, first of all, thanks to all the coaches. I mean, this is so cool. Most of the time, Mike, as you know, I didn't even have to reach out to these guys. They reached out to me. Hey, do you need somebody to chat with? Hey, do you want somebody to chat with? We did our best to get a sample size from everywhere. We had some guys from the UPs. We had guys from the West Side. We had guys from Central Michigan. We had guys from the East Side. But Ryan Ossenmacher, Dan Giacchino, Joe Ford, the guys with the Coaches Association, can't thank you guys enough. This was a blast. It's something that we're both passionate about. It's something we really believe in as well. So it was indeed our honor. Mike, I'll see you at the rink real soon, pal.
See you soon, buddy.
All right. Thanks to you, most importantly, for watching us, and we'll see you at the rink soon too. Bye-bye.
What the Puck with Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Always Pushing Forward by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.